Up until this season, Rhode Island football had been down for a very long time. They had not been to the FCS playoffs since 1985, had not won a conference title since 1985, and endured 16 straight losing seasons from 2002 to 2017. At one point, there were even conversations about cutting football as a whole with a drop football play hockey movement. But the university believed in what Coach Jim Fleming was building, and it has paid off, as Rhode Island is having their best season in program history, will play Mercer in the second round of the FCS playoffs this coming weekend. This is an amazing turnaround of Rhode Island football. But before we get into this, if you enjoyed college football content like this, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Also, let me know what your favorite FCS program is in the comment section below. Rhode Island football began in 1895, but would not become a consistent winner until the 1950s. They began playing Brown in 1909 and would only have one win in the series through the first 37 matchups, and being shut out in the first 16 matchups. They would win their first back-to-back games in the series in 1952 and 1953, the same year they won a share of the Yankee Conference. Their first outright conference title would be in 1955, and they'd win a share of the Yankee Conference once again in 1957, or struggling once again. They would not win a share of the Yankee Conference title until 1981, which was also the first time they made the Division I AA playoffs. They returned to the playoffs in 1984 when they won a share of the conference title once again, making it to the semifinals of the playoffs, won an outright conference title in 1985 when they made it to the quarterfinals of the playoffs, the last time they would make the playoffs for 39 years. Rhode Island would go back to struggling as a program. Joe Traynor would take over as head coach of Rhode Island and would never find any sort of success, with his second season being his best season when the Rams went 5-6. It would have 2 3-win seasons, a 1-10 season, and an 0-11 season under Traynor. Would be fired with 1 year left on his contract, going 12-44 in 5 seasons. Jim Fleming would push to land the Rhode Island job. Fleming grew up in New York and began his coaching career in 1985. Since Bruce Springsteen, Madonna, way before Nirvana. Sorry, I don't know what just got over me right there. In 1985, he would serve as a graduate assistant at South Carolina. He then spent time at Boise State, Brown, East Carolina, Villanova, Sacred Heart, North Carolina, Akron, Kent State, and UCF before arriving at Rhode Island. He helped lead Central Florida to its first BCS bowl game in program history, courtesy of an 11-1 mark, and an American Athletic Conference championship. Athletic Director Thor Bjorn spoke on the hiring, saying he kept reiterating, "I've applied for this job 4 times. I want to be head coach at the University of Rhode Island. That's where I want to be, and I know we can win here." Fleming reached out to Bjorn in an email sent shortly after Traynor was dismissed on November 18th. It was similar feelers he put out to URI personnel when Tim Stowers in 2000, Darren Rizzi in 2008, and Traynor in 2009 were ultimately hired for the position. Bjorn kept track of Fleming's career following his third inquiry, and made it a point to put him on the short list when Fleming made contact again. Fleming spoke on being hired by Rhode Island, explaining, "There was an immediate attraction by the Fleming family to Rhode Island. We love the state. That's always been a consistent answer. People have asked, 'What's your dream job?' Most guys will throw out Southern Cal or some place that is inundated with resources where you could go in, wave a magic wand, and win a national championship. Mine has always been Rhode Island." His lone head coaching experience came at Sacred Heart from 2000 to 2001, where he was named Northeast Conference Coach of the Year in back-to-back seasons, as the Pioneers racked up a 21-1 record. The program was not in a great place, as they were originally planning to join the Northeastern Conference and dropped their scholarships down to 40 to comply with the conference limit, but would reverse course and needed to bring their numbers back and funding back up to 63 scholarships the first few years under Fleming. Bjorn spoke on the reversal, saying, "That's on me. At the time, I felt it was the right thing. I also felt it was the right thing to switch back. That's hard on a coach. I think Traynor handled that as an absolute pro." Bjorn and Fleming both stressed a collective effort in terms of funding the program to a level that would match some of URI's CAA foes. Fleming explained, "We are not able to do this with a magic wand. It will require a lot of hard work. But as much as anything else, it will require a collective effort of everybody in the room and anybody on this campus that reaches out to touch the football program." As Fleming rebuilt the program, things would not go well, as they would go 1-11 in 2014, 1-10 in 2015, 2-9 in 2016, and 3-8 in 2017, meaning the Rams were 7-38 through the first 4 seasons under Fleming. Although the record was atrocious, from what I could find, no one was calling for Fleming to be fired and believed he was the guy to turn Rhode Island's fortunes around. I could be completely wrong, but that's just what I found was positive articles. The belief in Fleming would pay off as they would go 6-5 in 2018, meaning they would finish above 500 for the first time since 2001. But they would quickly go back to struggling in 2019, going 2-10, went 2-1 in a shortened 2020 season. 2021 and 2022 would see the Rams go 7-4, they would go 6-5 in 2023. Fleming continued to recruit at a high level throughout, even adapting to the new transfer rules and NIL. They would be hurt by some key departures such as offensive lineman AJ Cornelius to Oregon, defensive back Antonio Carter II to Notre Dame, and defensive back Saeed Gibbs to Georgia Tech, who all left for power programs elsewhere. They did bring in running back Malik Grant from Sacred Heart, receiver Sean Harris from UMass, quarterback Devin Farrell from Virginia Tech, receiver Greg Gaines III from Iowa State, defensive lineman Malachi Burby from Rutgers, quarterback Hunter Helms from Clemson, running back Deion Silas from Iowa State, and offensive lineman Brock Bethea from Chattanooga via the transfer portal. URI has been able to manipulate its recruiting budget by keeping some considerable in-state talent home. The Rams feature 21 players from Rhode Island on their roster this year. Heading into the 2024 season, Rhode Island was on a 5-game win streak over Brown, tying their longest streak in the rivalry history, winning 5 straight from 1988 to 1993. Heading into the 2024 season, Rhode Island was also picked to finish 8th in the CAA, with Villanova being picked to win the conference. Rhode Island would start the season off 1-0, beating Holy Cross 2017, before being blown out on the road by Minnesota 48-0. They rebounded with a 7-game win streak, including a double overtime win over Hampton. Their 6th straight win over Brown, making it the series record for Rhode Island, and upsetting number 19 New Hampshire. They would lose on the road to Delaware, who is moving up to the FBS next year 24-21, and finish the regular season with back-to-back wins over Albany and Bryant to finish the regular season 10-2, winning a share of the CAA conference title with Richmond, who they would not play during the regular season. Their 10 wins in a regular season tied their program record for wins in a single season, a record they would break beating Central Connecticut State 21-17 this past weekend in the first round of the FCS playoffs to move to 11-2. They will travel down to Georgia this weekend to take on 7-seed Mercer, who did a video on last week and is another great story at the FCS level this season. It is their first time back in the FCS playoffs since 1985, and their first win in the playoffs as well since 1985. Fleming spoke on the win, saying, "I thought that was one of our ugliest wins, but still representative of what kind of team this is in terms of staying in it. Just finding a way to get it done and not panic. No matter what happens, it has been an amazing season for Rhode Island that almost didn't happen." At one point, it looked like Rhode Island was going to be cutting the football program with a movement to drop football and play hockey instead, but under head coach Jim Fleming, that narrative has changed. Fleming helped make Rhode Island a consistent winner in the CAA and has led to more and more funding for the program. Fleming told the Providence Journal, "I still have a bigger vision. I still have a vision of what we can do to enhance this experience for the kids, to enhance our opportunities to prepare. I speak out of turn too much on certain things I want to see happen." URI President Mark Parledge and Bajorn advocated publicly for major investment in outdated facilities, securing more than $40 million for what will eventually be a stadium renovation. Bajorn spoke on the investment, saying, "We've got donors stepping up like we never have seen before. It's because of the success and because of the incredible support the state is providing us and the university is providing us. Everyone is doing their part. We're always going to have to raise money to run the program. But everybody does that. We're not unique." 2019 marked the first time when it looked like Rhode Island was no longer considering cutting the sport, with an investment into synthetic turf and lights at the football facility, as a school considering cutting a sport would not make that type of investment. This year has been what Fleming has been building for. They'll have major upgrades coming to the athletic facilities in 2025. East stands erected in the late 1970s will be torn down and replaced by new seating, a women's lacrosse locker room, modernized media facilities, and more accessible restrooms. Fleming explained, "We'll be out of our place for a year. That's no fun. The bottom line is the president, the governor, the athletic director, the people of Rhode Island are behind us. That's greatly appreciated. We just need to continue to win. The next project will be an indoor practice facility in a few years." The turnaround at Rhode Island and the belief in Coach Fleming has truly been amazing to see, and I can't wait to continue to watch their playoff run this weekend. What do you think? Is Rhode Island football back? Let me know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to check out one of my other videos YouTube thinks you will love right here. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, remember to embrace the grind.